I saw the Jolly Roger flying. Oh, that piqued my interest, so I went over.
I asked somebody, what is this? It's a very scary looking sticker. And they tell me, oh, this is sea shepherd. They fight illegal whaling, illegal fishing. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting.
Pirates? Yeah. Pirates. Well, you know, the pirate thing we've kind of adopted because we were called pirates for so long, but we're really not pirates.
The world is changing, our tactics are changing. Now we are working a lot together with governments. It's about time for them to wake up. Like, I'm sure they've all seen what's happened in Europe. Our fish is gone, the Atlantic is empty, the cod collapsed, there is just nothing to catch. And now the European fleet is here. East Africa is already in a very bad state, like the mega trawlers have been there, they still are, just emptying the oceans. If you look at the situation in Somalia, the pirates can be argued that they used to be fishermen, but then foreign trawlers came, took the fish, they have no income. So I think it's just common sense that the countries are waking up.
C'est pour moi un grand honneur et un immense plaisir de prendre la parole en cette circonstance solennelle de lancement de l'opération Albacore 2. Le domaine maritime gabonais en plein cœur du golfe de Guinée est aujourd'hui menacé par la pêche illicite, non déclarée et non réglementée par la piraterie maritime, notamment du fait de ses ressources pétrolières et minières.
La marine nationale, quand ils vont comme ça, ils sont armés.
Bien sûr.
Donc il peut parfois y avoir des affrontements en mer.
Bien sûr, des échanges de tirs.
Des échanges de tirs.
Oui.
On va continuer la visite et on va avancer vers la
Enfin, il y a quelque chose, une fleur naturelle qui
lieu, on a beaucoup de liens naturels ici, c'est assez. On va se baser sur différents outils. On va avoir les radars qui vont nous permettre de les voir à une grande distance. On va avoir le système AIS, qui est un système d'identification des navires au large. Et on va aussi avoir la veille traditionnelle en regardant avec des jumelles par les fils qui permettent d'identifier les navires. C'est ici qu'on prendra la décision.
Et quand vous faites des interpellations, c'est par mégaphone
Alors non,
ou vous faites
généralement on va d'abord essayer de les contacter par radio.
Ah d'accord.
Et grâce à ce premier contact, on peut aussi savoir si ils vont pouvoir collaborer avec eux, ou refuser de collaborer avec eux. On va directement dans vos quartiers et puis when they come on board, we check the chamber to make sure there is no bullet in the chamber. And So when they're stored, they are safe, there are no bullet. And then when we give them, we check the chamber again. And when they come back, we check the chamber, so we make sure that when they're stored, there is no bullet in it. And ammo and guns are stored separately.
Pardon. Fermé. Refermé. Le truc là. Clos. Voilà. Ah, tenez. Ça va? Quoi? Bryce. Le truc là. Enchanté.
Captain on board?
The history of the vessel, so 1950 she was built as a whaling ship, and the harpooning deck used to be over here. This would be where the harpoon slits on. And I think that's the sweetest thing. It used to kill whales, now it's protecting them.
Sea shepherd defending the whales in the Southern Ocean. So Japanese whalers go down there to hunt the whales, and Sea Shepherd was the only one who went down there.
The most impressive story was how Sea Shepherd stood up to that and got in between, you know, the harpoon ships and the processing ships, and prevented him from being able to transfer any whales onto the processing ship.
I've been there in the small boats next to the harpoon ships, and it's scary, it's different. But then again, throwing paint bombs versus physically stopping illegal fishing vessels, taking them out of the action, you save millions, hundreds of thousands of lives. We would get very, very close to the whaling fleet, and we would physically block them from transferring dead whales. We would physically stop them with putting defensive lines into the water, throwing stink bombs into the decks, throwing paint into them to symbolize the bloody business that they are doing. And I think the most impressing the campaign called Zero Tolerance. This is the Nishimaru, the whaling factory vessel. Factory ship, fuel tanker. And to come together, they need to get fuel. And this is what we did for 5 days. One of our ships was here, in between. Our interest was to stop this refueling operation, because if they cannot have fuel, they won't be able to continue whaling. To refuel at sea, two ships need to come together like this. So the Nishimaru tried to come alongside the fuel tanker, and we had our ships go there in between them to stop them from physically touching. For 5 days we were stopping it, and that situation got really, really tense. Nishimaru was shooting water down to the Bob Barker's engine room, so the Bob Barker lost all steering, lost all engines. It started to keel like this. Bob Barker's captain, the extremely brave Peter Hammerstedt, was shouting, "Mayday, mayday, mayday, Bob Barker, stop, Bob Barker, stop, I have no engines." And only then the Nishimaru pulled away. And before that, they had already crushed the main masts of the Bob Barker, crushed the heli deck. So that the Bob Barker, thank God, it didn't sink. But it was very, very close. Now after this, we had the injunction come against our ships that we cannot go 500 meters close to the... This is an injunction from a US court, and that's the weird thing. How can a US court have jurisdiction in international waters to a crew that is international to a ship that's flagged to Netherlands? But still, we are respecting this injunction because we do not engage in illegal activities. This flag?
Yeah.
At the moment, we don't use it in Africa because there is a piracy situation, and it's just not very tactful and politically correct to fly a pirate flag. Of course, part of me always looks back to these days and the successes that we had, like zero tolerance saved the life of 700 whales. Of course, you always look back to it, to the people who you work with, to these accomplishments, and think, that was nice. But then I'm also extremely happy with the direction Sea Shepherd has taken. Because for me personally, IUU fishing and overfishing has been my thing. I've always hoped, I hope we would do more for the fish, because the fish, they don't scream when they die, and nobody knows what's going on with them. Like, they are the underlings of the planet in a way. So for me to see this collaboration with governments, putting more work into protection of fish, it's just a dream come true, really.
So we're still at the refrigerated cargo ship under surveillance this morning. We're going to watch it for today. It did move last night. If it starts to move again, we'll go ahead and board it. But otherwise, we're planning on boarding it at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. We have an interesting ship here that looks like it's a freezer ship. Mm-hmm. And it's been drifting out here for days. Normally you would expect a freezer ship to go from the port to the port it's going as quickly as possible, unload the frozen food, and return. But just to sit offshore with a bunch of frozen food is a bit strange. It's just suspicious. Suspicious activity.
It's huge. We don't know what's the cargo. And it's a funny vessel because it's like a traditional looking reefer where they have the cargo hatches that you can drop things down, but then it can also carry containers on it. So it can have frozen cargo. Yeah.
Wild Lotus, Wild Lotus, Wild Lotus. This is Gabonese Navy patrol vessel off your starboard beam. Wild Lotus, 16.
Wild Lotus, report.
Good afternoon, Wild Lotus. This is Gabonese Fisheries and Navy off your starboard beam. We've noticed you've been drifting inside the Gabonese EEZ for several days. I was wondering what your intentions were here. Over.
That's the skipper speaking. What is your purpose for boarding? I don't understand. We just drifting, yeah? It's for order, waiting. This is good place for drifting. Because it's our... We came to Durban, it's only 17th July. We stay here about 1-2 days more. That's all. Prepare vessel for loading.
Yeah, roger that, sir. We're just inspecting you because you are a refrigerated cargo ship inside the Gabonese EEZ, and transshipment of fish is illegal within the EEZ. So we just want to inspect to make sure your freezers are empty. That's all. Over.
What is your flag? What is your nationality of your vessel?
The ship is Dutch flag. It's under loan to the Gabonese government. Over.
Okay, understand.
That's what I thought.
Le bateau, c'est un cargo réfrigérant, un reefer de 150 mètres de long. C'est un bateau qu'ils utilisent pour faire du transbordement de poissons. Et donc voilà. Pour l'instant, ils ont l'air plutôt coopératifs.
Vous avez un nombre de passagers à bord ou pas?
Non.
Et ils se sont déjà rassemblés plage avant, plage arrière, non plus.
Je vais demander. Can you ask the Bob if we have an idea of how many crew there are on the ship?
We'll have 20 persons on board.
Gabonese Navy sailors just went on board the vessel, secured the vessel, and now they gave us permission to send the fishery inspectors to proceed with the fishery inspection.
Do
de l'Albéa, on s'en va à l'arrière. On va attendre le gars.
Il est en transit, il revient de Douala, il est en train de partir à Durban, en Afrique du Sud. Il est en train de transporter des fruits.
It's a good place for drifting.
Outside
too much wave.
Les eaux territoriales.
Vessel too much rolling, not possible to roll. Just we stay here. We have time for the
And what do you normally load?
Normally fruits. Normally fruits. Ты их ведешь на корм, они должны забрать с торпома боцмана и показывать им эти рыбак. Отсюда не выпускают с кормы.
But you tell him for...
Yeah, I tell him, but this on the gun, it's not possible.
Not good, my friend.
Они пристрелили по дороге.
One. It's a boss for the boss.
Okay.
Our next cargo will be grapefruit lemons from South Africa. Its last cargo was frozen fish from Ireland to Cameroon.
Oui, mais pourquoi ils sont pas si loin de côté que ça? Pourquoi pas ligne droite? Pourquoi tout là?
Because it's early for us now.
Yeah. C'est
We
très
have to drifting
Ouais.
and clean holes for preparation for next cargo.
This vessel cannot make in transshipment operation. For me, explanation from your Navy ship said it's any prohibited transshipment operation. But believe me, vessel with crane in open sea with this wave, this is not possible. Need different cargo gear, derrick. You understand me, derrick? These two derrick is 2 wires. Crown have 1 wires. Just only 1 point of pivot point.
Yes.
This is problem. This is not possible to work. Just drifting in safe position. Take your time.
Okay.
For came in
Okay.
time coming because
Okay.
in Durban, not possible for this vessel stay on anchorage because too much wave and swell.
Okay, good. Le gars dit qu'il est batteur réfrigérant qui transporte des fruits. Et voilà, il est en transit pour Durban. Là, les gars des pêches sont en dessous en train de vérifier quand même les cales et tout le reste. Pour le personnel, on est en train de vérifier les identités de tout le personnel. Et donc là, nous attendons, on est en stand-by.
Thank you, Camille. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Captain, for your cooperation.
It was all empty.
Yeah, all empty.
No smell of fish. So it's quite different. That it's nice to have the government on board and be able to actually stop the fish and inspect what's going on. So it's a different experience, but it's a good one.
Usually government don't like you.
Yeah, usually that's the case. Yeah, usually we go to like the Faroes and they say get out, you know, or yeah, that place they don't like us very much at all. So. In the Faroes, because we don't want them to kill the pilot whales, and so you know they have this long tradition of driving the pilot whales with their small boats and driving them up onto the beach and killing them on the beach. And so we've gone there and interfered with the hunts there, which is, you know, there's a whole layers of legal issues there because it is illegal for the EU to hunt whales, and the Faroes are ostensibly part of the EU, but they claim that they're not. They tried in years past to pass laws against us, and they kept getting. The way they were worded, they wouldn't enforce them. So I believe this year they have succeeded in keeping us from going there. I know the ships can't go in, I don't know if individuals went now how that would work out, but we're not going there on a campaign this year because of that, because of the prohibition there. And then we have other issues now that we're tackling, like this illegal fishing, which is a huge problem all over the world.
If you want to eat tuna, for example, you just go to the supermarket, buy a can of tuna, open it, and you enjoy it because you like the taste. But when you see how it's catched, you start to think about it. These big fishing boats called purseines. Fish are already in a big trap. So they cannot go out, but there's still plenty of space, several hundred meters. And then the purseine boat starts to pull in the nets, and the net, the circle, is getting tighter and tighter. Fish are squeezed out like a lemon. And in this moment, the sea really turns red, full of blood. It's just a sea of blood. Another net, it's called a scoop, with a metal ring. They go into the big net and scoop out the fish. One time we have been around this purseine boat, we counted 15 scoops. When you say 5 tons each, for example, yeah, that's one catch of 75 tons of tuna. And they do it several times a day, almost every day, with a big fleet. So now you get an idea why the ocean is overfished.
Baptiste, seems that our friend are stopped now, so I guess they shoot the net and got a catch. Then it turn around, and here you can see the 2 circles. So usually when they find fish, they shoot the net, they do a circle. When they do it, then it starts to get some, so that's the trap. It could be an interesting target for us.
Chasing rabbits.
Yeah.
Down their ass?
No.
Interesting. Just keep going. We can have dinner before we board. We can have dinner before we have to board.
Yeah.
You wanna go get your food?
Yeah.
Good evening, Montenegro. This is the Gabonese Navy Patrol. We are going to board you for a routine fisheries inspection. Over.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow or today?
We're going to do it today in about half an hour. Over. Do you have any weapons or guns on board? Over.
No firearms, nothing on board.
For example, the Mediterranean is a very overfished. In this region, there has been a lot of tuna fishing by the European industrial purseiner fleet. They have been fishing here quite extensively since the 1950s as well. So that has also led to the fact that there is not so much tuna left. So that is why Gabon and other nations in this region are doing these inspections to make sure that they have the amount of catch on board that they are reporting.
So like you see, today, free school, 15 tons. Fat set is a raft, 10 tons. 2 yellowfin, 8 tons skipjack.
So it's what you fish from the FADs?
Yeah.
Any bycatch? Yeah, turtle, shark.
No, yeah, it's shark, but you release the water alive.
Yeah.
So far, alive.
5 sharks on the whole trip.
In this water,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you reported this bycatch?
Yeah. Nice night.
Thank you. You too. Ok. Donation. Donation.
Okay, de nada, obrigado, de nada.
My main goal will be about bycatch and the IUU, the illegal, unregulated and underreported fishing that is happening in the West African region. Because it is estimated that between 11 and 26 million tons of fish is being caught illegally. 7.3 million tons of fish are being discarded as bycatch annually. It's just being killed without being targeted. Here you can see the net. In the net you can see a lot of dead sharks, because the problem with the sharks is since they're lacking a swim bladder, when they lift up the net, already before the net is on the deck, the sharks die because of lack of oxygen, because they do not have a swim bladder. So if they don't move, they will die immediately. Last year when we were here in Gabon, we also had several cases of whale sharks getting caught in the net with the purse seiners. So on several occasions we had to cut up the net to be able to save the whale sharks and release it from the entanglement in the net. And that is also a beautiful feeling when you see the whale shark swimming away from the net.
Continue with the scrubbing. Scrub, 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 scrub.
I fell in love with the shark when I was 3 years old, so it's a long story with the sharks. For me, the most difficult and impressive was when I saw my first dead shark for the first patrol. It was horrible because I didn't see shark dead before, so it was the first time I heard, so it was horrible. But my motivation was stronger after that because I knew that I wanted to be there again and continue, but it was horrible.
So are you guys expecting me to change it to starboard on my watch, or do I just leave it there? I'll have a look at it and see.
Yeah, it should get great. And then
what I wanted to do is help. You know that you're helping the world be a bit better, so I would say that would be, to me, one of the things that has impressed me the most is how you get the energy from wherever you need to get it, but you do it.
I wanted to do something for Earth. When I came on board, it was my first time at sea. It was my first time in the galley as well. So I had a lot to learn.
This is the 7th campaign. I just love it. I just love it. I love being on the ship. I love the crew. I just love the whole thing, and being at sea, I feel more at home on a ship at sea than I do on land, for sure.
So after I spent 45 years in the Navy, I retired in summer 2016, so 1 year ago. And after a while, I started missing going at sea. But I didn't want to just go at sea for fun, because I do have a sailing boat. But I needed a mission.
Did you call the mess that we are playing? Oh boy. I've never seen anything like this in my life. 2 whales jumping in the air completely and at the same time.
2 of them reached together.
Yeah. Again.
just stuck.
Got it. So,
if you guys slack it off a little bit from this line, I can follow it down and try to release it from the hull. Yeah,
Wait.
but that way it's not stuck. It's stuck here.
Ah!
That's FAD.
Piece of netting and wood, it's called a FAD, or fish aggregation device, and normally these are attached to a platforms that float in the water, and then the FAD trails underneath water attracting fish. But this one does not have a float in it, so it's just floating freely, which is an entanglement risk for whales and obviously for ships, because now it's stuck to our ship. And of course it's rubbish at this stage. We cannot leave it in the ocean because maybe a shark or fish or dolphin get entangled there, or another vessel, it'll go into the propeller. So we're gonna... Can you pull it up a little bit, or is it super heavy? Okay.
No. Then it continues for a bit.
Then it goes further under. What about getting one set of scuba?
The float is here. The float is here.
Yeah.
I think these two are two different devices. That this black float is from a local fisherman's net, because I've seen these before a lot in the coast of Africa. Usually they would have a little net attached to that, but now we are 30 miles away from the coast, and the local wooden boats, they don't really come this far, so it's probably been torn out by a storm or strong winds or tide and just drifted far out, and this FAD is definitely for a sailor. So we got very lucky that it didn't get stuck in our propeller or any other vital parts of the ship, or it wasn't a shark or a dolphin or a whale getting stuck. A little adventure for the evening, exactly. Most of our people are volunteers. At dinner, at lunch, you'll see everybody here. Captain next to a deckhand, next to a second pool, playing cards.
The only way you could know sitting is
And of course, if we are willing to protect the whales, the sharks, the dolphins, the fish, we don't want them to be killed. Why would we eat animal products here? All of our ships, the whole fleet, we now have 10 ships. All of them are vegans. And also anything that goes into the water with our shower water has to be marine safe. So all the soaps, shampoos, laundry detergent, everything, we choose them very wisely so they are marine safe and also vegan and not tested on animals.
Tell your boss to stop his engine. Appelez votre capitaine, dites-lui d'arrêter son moteur. Ouais, vous lui dites d'arrêter son moteur. Stop your engine, sir. Right now we got 3 different vessels. We dropped the Navy on one vessel. The vessel, the
Bob Barker is going to try to ask the other fishing vessel to stop. And we will go right after when we're done to this one and try to have him stop as well. So try to stop 3 of them before they cross the border.
On se met là-haut. Là-haut.
Papier, tika bateau, voilà, police. Tika bateau.
Licence.
Ça, tika bateau. Papier, bateau, tout.
Ah, les gars, faut pas nous fatiguer. Allons là-bas.
Laisse-le. Il y a un gars qui arrive qui parle chinois, il est anglais, il est.
It's for Congo. It's for Congo. But we are in Gabon.
We don't catch the fish. We just run away from Gabon. We go to from Gabon. We from Congo. We go to Congo.
We from.
I know you from Gabon.
You run.
And just run.
Just run.
Yeah.
you from Congo and just run Congo. Il faut qu'on leur signifie simplement qu'on les regroupe et puis on même avec le Congo ils sont même pareils.
It's old. It's last year. Fishing permits to fish in Congolese waters, but right now we are in Gabonese waters, and the permits for Congo expired last year, so they cannot even fish legally in Congo, and absolutely not in Gabon. You need to follow the other vessel. Yeah.
我要甲风靠，我给两马要甲风小艇靠。我给两马要甲风那个小艇靠上了。我。给两马。往那边想那，昨天产量我370，这把产量我都没捞统计了。
就是你370是2天卖本呗？
对，我要小艇靠。
行，不行少挖点呗。
不是，不行，你搞价的什么？我跟两马要小艇靠。好，兄弟们，我该回去了。
那个每年，他的记录每天跑多少远的，就是他有没有那个数据？他现在就是要这个数据是你那个每年限鱼的位置，还有那个捕鱼数，就是证明你没给他那个地方拉鱼，就这意思。你这个证明不了是吧？
俺那个没数，这个没记那个数。你告啥？我们根本就从来没在那边拉过。这个坏了，完了飘到这边，就没完，往那边下。
Dinner, Bob, go ahead.
No fishermen will be coming back to the bob. They are going to stay on the vessels, and all Marines will stay on the vessels with them.
So our next steps now is that we're going to bring 2 of the officers over from the ships here for interrogation, and then we're going to escort the ships to port. We're figuring out which port that is now. It'll either be Port Gentil.
Another glorious Navy day.
It's a very good story, very good day. Several targets across the border. We didn't have any information on what type of vessel it was before we had a visual on them, although their behavior on radar looked very similar to what we've seen in the past for trawlers. we had Navy on 2 boats, and a third one tried to manage to run away because we were busy with the 2 other boats. This year, those 2 vessels are the first arrest we are doing.
This is like my first one of working with the government, having the soldiers on board and all. It's the first time with that, so that's completely different. Usually we have no real way of enforcing our authority. You know, we have authority from the United Nations Charter for Nature. That's about it. Because you look at any fishery in the world right now, and none of them are going up. They're all either stable, which is a few that are stable. Most of them are in decline. The methods of fishing are so efficient now that there's no way that the fish can sustain and replenish.
Governments have to wake up, countries have to wake up, and that's happening especially in Africa, where we have now a multitude of nations that are willing to work with us and inviting us to come into their waters to protect them. When you fish in an unsustainable way, you are taking more fish out of the ocean than what there is left to reproduce. You are taking the young fish who still haven't made babies, you're taking whole schools of fish. Let's say they have a license to catch tuna. You will never catch only tuna, and anything in the net that it's not tuna, they are supposed to throw it back to the sea alive, but it happens very rarely. They are crushed together, they are already bleeding, and they are already dead. So it's just very, very hard for them to return the fish to the sea alive. Already estimates are saying that by 2050, the level of how much fish there is below the overall threshold that the fish cannot repopulate anymore. The stocks cannot raise to a level where there will be fish left for the future generations. And already the levels of the big top fish in the food chain, the shark, the tuna, all these big fish, like some scientists say that bluefin tuna, which is a top predator in the Mediterranean, already 90% of it are gone and it won't recover. Already some estimates say that 90% of the sharks are gone. And can they raise up to the levels where they used to be? It's very, very much up to debate.
All the treasures that we have around us are on the verge of disappearing. And we already could see that happening here in the Atlantic, in front of the western coast of Africa, where used to be tons and tons of fish, big size. And now we've seen these fishermen, they are in their nets. You can see very small, tiny fishes that would never be of any interest for a normal fisherman. I didn't expect the situation to be so bad.
Some of the species that they have caught cannot be consumed for human consumption. So we were tossing back the species that they will definitely not use. So the jellyfish and the blubberfish.
We saw this really big eel in the corner. He started to move. Everybody was surprised in this moment because no one expected that. It was really like you want to say, hey, here I am. Yeah, the Chinese fisherman came and took the eel and he threw it overboard back into the water. So, and we could see that the eel survived. He just started to move again and he disappeared in the water. So these are the small stories that reminds you, hey, keep on trying, try harder. I mean, if the eel wouldn't have moved and moved right all the way to in front of our feet, hey, he would just be another dead fish on board. So it was, yeah, a little reminder that you have to continue fighting.
I think it's not just what the single ships are doing that will make the difference. Even one ship makes the difference because it's a message. We have to understand we cannot stay still and just be witness of the ongoing disaster.
There are people who view this as an adventure, because going to sea, it's not a normal thing unless you're a working sailor. It can be this romantical adventure, going off and saving the whales and dolphins, but for me it's not that. For me it's something that I feel it's the only way of living on this planet, doing something where I actually make the place better.
I'm doing this because I want the future world the future generations to have enjoy the ocean how we have. In 20 years, when you're with your kid or your grandson and you see a whale, you know, jumping around on the coast, you're gonna say, oh no, I knew a guy that, you know, dropped everything and went and helped, you know, put his little grain of sand to help that.
Do I think that people can change the world as in general? Oh, absolutely. It shows you here, come onto a ship on Sea Shepherd, you don't have just one country. You have numerous different countries coming together for one goal.
It does change, but I think we're all still fighting for the same thing in the end, you know, fighting for the oceans and the life in the ocean. So whether you do it romantically or efficiently is semantics, right?